This is Ghulam Rasool. Today we are going to do the second, the analysis of editorial of Dawn, dated August 16, 2020. So the critical analysis, okay, you know that in Pakistan these days you see the news agency is biased most of the time. But we have to analyze it because it's very important to understand the language, the phrases, the sentences, and this time we are going to analyze it in depth. For example, there is a punctuation also. Why is this punctuation used? What are the functions of punctuation, and what are the clauses, and what are the dependent clauses and the independent clauses? When we are aware of these the complications of grammar, our writing will be perfect, our writing will be praiseworthy. Let's start. Making amends has got a question mark. Why is that a question mark? When you want to ask a question and you do not use the auxiliary verbs or the helping verbs in the beginning, then you put the question mark and that becomes the question. So when you're asking a question, this one with that and will rise. For example, making amends, like where you're going. Okay, this is your table. The table goes high, so the intonation is higher at the end. For example, you're going to the market. You're from Pakistan. Now I'm ending it. Otherwise, where are you from? Are you from Pakistan? Now, are you from Pakistan? Pakistan would be there would be declining intonation. So intonation is higher. For example, you're from Pakistan. That's a question. Like making amends. Do something to correct a mistake. The meaning is amends means do something to correct a mistake. Let's read it. Where relations, now I will make it very clear. For example, sentence by sentence we will read. Okay, where relations with the US are concerned, there has been a distinct shift in Imran Khan's tone. This first sentence is a clause, and the dependent clause has been used in the beginning. When the dependent clause is used in the beginning and the independent clause comes afterwards, so these clauses should be separated by comma. You see, if there has been a distinct shift in Imran Khan's tone where relations with the US are concerned, so there would be no comma. The comma is used because the dependent clause is used in the beginning. Where relations with the US are concerned, that means this is a dependent one. So you need to elaborate more. Why? Where relations? So what has to be done? Okay. Now let's go ahead. While to that point. Okay, no, sorry, yes, let's see if I'm wrong. No, I am wrong already. I'm wrong. No. While the PTI leader at one time had blamed America for engineering his ouster from Prime Minister House courtesy the Cablegate affair, Mr. Khan's current, is this a full stop, or let's see, I'm so sorry. Okay, there's a comma, I think. Mr. Khan's current tone towards the US is decidedly conciliatory. Now, what do you mean by courtesy? Courtesy is politeness, thanks to or due to. You see here, otherwise you see the politeness. For example, your brother is on a high post, and his friends invite you as well out of courtesy to him. So they have invited you out of courtesy to your brother, because they are friends of your brother, and you receive a courtesy letter or you receive a courtesy call. Courtesy means the politeness. For example, they do not want to anger you or infuriate you, or they do not want to disturb their relations with you, but they say, sir, we are giving you a courtesy call. This was a courtesy call, so that means a polite call just to remind you. That is, but now here, while the PTI leader at some time, while when we were starting with while, that's a dependent sentence, dependent clause, while the PTI leader at one time had blamed America for engineering his ouster from Prime Minister House courtesy, the capital. He had blamed. Now this word is used here. Why is this word used, blamed? So is it proved? It is not proved. So it's a blame. It's still an accusation, according to the editorial. Engineering his ouster. So who engineered his ouster from Prime Minister House? Courtesy the Cavalcade affair. Has the cabal been investigated by Supreme Court or by High Court or by any other members of an agency or Parliament or Assembly? No. Mr. Khan's current tone towards the U.S. is decidedly conciliatory. So where is the tone? They are judging the tone now. Conciliatory means peacemaking. This is the opposite would be provocative. Peacemaking are like provocative. Your actions are provocative. His remarks were provocative, means which can invite the anger. Conciliatory is peacemaking. Your efforts are conciliatory, means peacemaking. Okay, decidedly. The word is used, decidedly conciliatory. Who has decided this? The editorial is deciding this one, or the writer has decided this? Decidedly conciliatory. Speaking to a jam-packed Lahore stadium on the eve of Independence Day. Let's go and mark this one also. Let me see. We go slowly so we can cover everything. Okay, speaking to a jam-packed Lahore stadium on the eve of Independence Day, Mr. Khan told his supporters that though he rejected slavery, oh my God, there are so many dependent clauses. Speaking to a jam-packed Lahore stadium on the eve of independence, this is a dependent clause, therefore the comma. Mr. Khan told his supporters that though he rejected slavery is in inverted comma. This is very important word, so the attention of the reader is drawn towards this word. He was not anti-American, and that he wanted a friendly relationship. Again, friendly relationship in inverted commas. So that means the attention is drawn towards this one with the U.S. Okay, there is a full stop. So Imran Khan has maintained his stance from a long time by saying that he doesn't want to disturb his relations with any country, and he was developing his friendship with America, and he had even visited America. So that means he did not want any enemy out of any country. So relationship with the U.S. Furthermore, he highlighted other aspects of the bilateral relationship, such as robust trade ties and the strength of the Pakistan-American community, adding that there was okay. Now further he continues, such as robust relationship, such as robust trade ties. There's the comma, such as robust trade ties and the strength of the Pakistani American community. Okay, this is the added information, adding that there was no reason to make an enemy out of Washington. Now, an enemy is also in inverted commas. The reader's attention is drawn towards these words. For example, the first one was what? The Cavalcade affair, and the second one was a friendly relationship, and third one is an enemy. That means the writer is attacking the speaker here, attacking, and how he is making some assumptions that the Imran Khan is using these words for this particular purpose in order to pacify relations with America. It does not want to make an enemy, enemy out of Washington. There is no reason to make an enemy out of Washington. There is no point in making an enemy out of Washington. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's read ahead. Imran Khan also recalled that Donald Trump had rolled out the red carpet for him when he visited the US as premier. So he's talking about the facts. He's telling the people the facts. Now these are the independent sentences. If that one, for example, when he visited the US as premier, there would be comma. If this sentence is, for example, used, we start from when, from here. If you start from here, if you start from here, I'm trying to stop it here, but it's not. When he visited the US as premier, this would be the dependent clause. If we started with this one, then we would separate the sentence with the comma. When he visited the US as premier, comma, then there would be the second sentence. Imran Khan had also recalled that Donald Trump had rolled out the red carpet for him when he visited the US as premier. The sudden climb down follows reports that the PTI's US chapter has hired a PR firm on a handsome contract to help communicate the party's narrative to the quarters that matter in Washington. Okay, but I continued without highlighting the same. Okay. Now, the sudden climb down follows reports. So the writer believes, the editorial writer believes that the sudden climb down, this discendency, this stepping back or going back on that. Imran Khan never goes back on his promise, never goes back on his statement. Sudden climb down follows reports that there has been a report, okay, the PTI's US chapter has hired a PR firm. So they had already hired first one. This one is the second one. Most probably, PTI US chapter has hired a firm, okay, PR firm. They are taking services. They are hiring the services. This is professional. They are being professional. They have hired a PR firm on a handsome contract to help communicate the party's narrative. They need the people who can describe their stance in the most perfect way to the officials concerned, to the party's narrative, to the quarters that matter in Washington. The quarters here means a group of people who are well versed, who are highly educated, highly qualified to carry the matters in the most plausible way. Now let's go ahead. See, while critics would say this is yet another of Mr. Khan's policy U-turns, let's see. While critics would say this is yet another of Mr. Khan's policy U-turns, there has been no U-turns on policies when it comes to Imran Khan's stance. So while critics, this is also the dependent clause. While critics would say this is yet another of Mr. Khan's policy U-turns, perhaps it reflects newfound maturity. Now, perhaps now here the writer is showing some courtesy. You see, he's showing some kind of doubt, or he wants to stay on the side, or wants to sit on the fences. That perhaps he assumes it reflects newly found maturity, or newfound maturity. Newfound maturity means recent maturity in the former prime minister's in the former prime minister's approach. Okay, particularly towards foreign relations. There's a comma used, particularly towards foreign affairs. This is an addition that they're adding a detail to the information, particularly towards foreign relations. Although there was, now let's go. Although there was some truth. although there was some truth to Mr. Khan's call for freeing Pakistan from all forms of foreign servitude. Servitude means bondage, serfdom, enslavement. Antonym would be freedom. So servitude means bondage. So that is enslavement, where people are we are in servitude. We have lived our lives in servitude. So we don't want servitude. You see, bondage, serfdom. Serfdom, you see, the peasants must come out of the serfdom. Enslavement, enslave is a verb, enslavement is a noun. So although there is some truth to Mr. Khan's call for freeing Pakistan from all forms of foreign servitude. So although there is that's also dependent clause. Although we're starting with although, so that would be separated by comma. The theory that the U.S. had arranged the PTI government's exit has not been backed by facts. How do you know that? That has not been backed by facts. That has been backed by facts. He has been shouting at the top of his lungs. People know that. He has asked the assemblies to investigate the same. He has sent the letter to the even Supreme Court, which has not been thoroughly investigated. Moreover, it was unwise for Mr. Khan to have used. Okay, let me clarify the sentence. Moreover, it was unwise for Mr. Khan to have used anti-American sentiment to settle domestic discourse. Moreover is adding the facts. Moreover, the moreover is an introductory word or signpost when you're adding something. So moreover, he's continuing with the same sense. Moreover, it was unwise for it was unwise of Mr. Khan to have used anti-American sentiment to settle domestic scores. So here Imran Khan is blamed that he has settled domestic issues. Scores means issues, problems, by using this technique, by using this shenanigan of using or taking an American sentiment to the people that America is against Pakistan or against our government. Therefore, therefore his government has been toppled. So he settled down these domestic issues. This move stoked even more. Now he's continuing with this one. He's continuing on that one, and that. Okay, let. Okay, we come here up to the benefits. Okay. This move stoked even more anti-Americanism within the masses. This move stoked even more anti-Americanism within the masses without bringing Pakistan any tangible benefits. Without bringing Pakistan, this is an addition, you see, additional information. This stoke means what? Add fuel to the fire, or encourage, or create. Okay, let me read. Fueled, encourage, or make stronger, stir up. Even the fire is burning, you stir it up and you get the flames out. Add to, put fuel on, or add fuel to. So this move stoked even, this one is continued, this move stoked even more anti-Americanism within the masses without bringing Pakistan any tangible benefits. What is a tangible? Tangible means something you can touch, you can see, you can. That's a palpable, concrete, or solid benefits. Solid ones, or physical. You can see it, real, solid. Okay. Antonym will be intangible. Tangible benefits. There are no benefits. There is a huge benefit. People have been won over. Their hearts have been won over. People are ready to sacrifice themselves, for the sake of their country, for the sake of their leader. These are the tangible benefits. What are other tangible benefits in the eyes of a writer? Mr. Khan Okay, let's go up to this point. Mr. Khan may may not admit it, but the Cablegate conspiracy has been debunked. How Cablegate conspiracy has been debunked? Where was that reported? By Supreme Court, or by High Court, by Assembly, by Senate, or by any news by the Dawn investigating team? By what? Has been debunked. Debunked means has been exposed. And that has been exposed. It's exposed, discredited, or deflated. The balloon has been deflated. Deflated? Where? How this has been exposed? Cablegate conspiracy has been debunked, and he and his party are now trying to move on and mend fences with Uncle Sam. Mend fences means settle down, patch up, improve relations, repair relations if the relations have been wasted or have been disturbed. So we mend fences with each other. For example, I'm trying to mend fences with my friends if we are at daggers drawn. With Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is a personification for federal government, the U.S. or the citizens of the U.S. You see, so the federal Sam. Okay, if a man fences with the Uncle Sam, with the Americans, with the federal government, even though the controversy came at a high cost for Pakistan. What is the high cost? High cost. What is it? They are bowing before the foreign powers. Our people are borrowing from every country, but they are not even given. They are not even offered, even though the controversy came at a high cost for Pakistan. Perhaps Mr. Khan has come to the realization that to return or to stay in government, he has realized, okay, this could be, if he has realized that he has to stay in government or he has to return to the government, so it is unwise to break relations with powerful foreign states. He has never broken. He never announced that we have no relations with America. We do not want to keep the relations. He wants to develop relations. He wants to be friend, but he does not want to be slave, and he doesn't want anybody to be slave. I don't know why writers are writing that. I'm not a bias, but I go with the facts. Sovereignty must always be guarded. Okay, he's always talking about sovereignty. Must always be guarded. But dragging foreign countries into domestic political affairs is a bad idea. This should be investigated. Whether the foreign countries are being domesticated, are dragged into domestic political affairs or not. Mr. Khan has his eyes set on Islamabad, and he knows that if he is re-elected and returns to PM House, he will have to repair relations with the US. He has repaired. His relations are repaired. They will try to repair the relations if he is elected to the office of Prime Minister. If he is returned to PM House, you would see them rolling out the red carpets again. Mr. Khan has his eyes. So where his eyes must be set on Islamabad. His eyes must be set on Islamabad, and he knows that if he is re-elected and returns to PM House, he will have to repair relations with the US. Of course, they would try, and he is ready to. The only question is that from now, this is the last one. I'll come to the last one. The only question is that from now till election day, will Mr. Khan stick to his narrative or again change course? He's asking a question. He will change his course. If need be, he has to change the course. Otherwise, the narrative is simple. Narrative is simple. He doesn't want anyone to be the slave. Now, what about the present the current news of the present government, when the oil price is lowering at international level, and the price in Pakistan of petroleum is rising. Is there anything the writers would write? Okay, I think it was better analysis, and you should write the words I have mentioned, and keep reading, keep watching, and always always talk about the truth, listen to the truth, subscribe to my channel so that you can get other videos as well, the latest videos. Thank you.